Back at you with another one. Today is going to be quite a controversial video. Why? Because I'm going to be speaking about the M word. So, to certain sections of the fan base, you can't criticize Arteta. You can only praise him because Arsenal FC has become a dictatorship. We're like North Korea, where Mikel was Kim Jong-un. How dare you criticize him? But in terms of this video here, I'm not going to just be criticizing a man. I'm going to give you quite a fair, balanced view of why I personally don't believe that the why I don't trust the process. And we'll look into that. So before we get on to my mate, Mikel Arteta, everything always starts with the board. And unfortunately, we've got this fraud to deal with. Some of you out there are probably scratching your head and thinking, who is he? And for those of you that do know him, yeah, we've got nothing else to say except when he's out there telling the Arsenal fans, be excited, man, be excited. And what have we done? We've regressed since. What is there to be excited? So for those of you who don't know, that's Josh Kroenke, the Stan Kroenke's son. So Josh and Stan pretty much run the club, or shall I say, Stan owns the club, and Josh does the running side of things since Stan can't be asked. But what we do know is both men are not footballing men, and before we sort of they have a massive impact to play in terms of why I don't trust the process. How can you trust a process when these guys don't know football? They have no passion for it. They own multiple sports teams like the Denver Nuggets, like the LA Rams, and I can't remember the MLS team they've got out there. And they've also got an ice hockey team. I don't know too much about NHL, but I watch the NBA quite a bit. And one of the first things they did for the Denver Nuggets is that they traded Carmelo Anthony, who was on their highest salary, to remove him off the salary cap so they could free it up and bring in a few mediocre players who didn't earn as much, just so they could sort of penny pinch. And that sort of same process is replicating across to Arsenal, the penny pinching side of things. We've seen recently Tottenham Hotspurs move into a £1 billion stadium. When we did that, we were financially constrained. We were faced with austerity measures. And pretty much Wenger was handicapped for a few years in the transfer market because we were told we can't spend as we had to pay off the stadium debt. Funny how few years down the line, Tottenham have built a stadium which is double the cost in terms of which we paid for the Emirates. But yet, I don't see Tottenham facing any austerity. How did they manage to go out in the transfer market, get Reguilon, get Gareth Bale, get Emil Højbjerg, Doherty, and a few others before this transfer? Explain that one whilst we were there trying to bring in Yaya Sanogo. And this is the main reason I don't trust the process, because it comes from top up. But I will get into the owners a bit more, but let's focus a bit more on Mikel Arteta. So when Mikel Arteta came in, he brought in fresh new ideas. We played very expansive football. We were high pressing. I remember even a game against Chelsea. I can't remember when that was, but it was under Mikel Arteta when Jorginho should have been sent off, but he was wrongfully stayed on the pitch and he got the winning goal and they beat us 2-1. But one thing I did recall in that game was, even though we lost, it was quite a convincing performance. We were very unfortunate. We attacked, we pressed. And not only that, when Mikel Arteta came in, I can honestly say, from having Unai Emery previously, who's, let's be honest, his communication was poor, I felt as if Unai Emery missed out on not having an interpreter. Yes, he tried to do the honourable thing by trying to learn the language, but sometimes just take your time, like Poch did at Southampton when he had an interpreter. And once he was competent enough to do interviews himself, he would do so. But when English is not your first language and you're just learning it, it's difficult for the press to transmit what you're trying to say. So therefore, they'll pick holes in what you're saying. And then that could then leak doors for further speculation. People saying, if we don't understand him, the team probably don't understand him. That's why they're confused out there. And it just brings all these negativity onto the team. So that's one thing I can honestly pinpoint at Unai Emery. Whereas Wenger, the biggest BS talk ever. Wenger might as well just, go down 10 Downing Street because he's a politician. He can sit there with a straight face, lie to you constantly, and he did that for many, many years. Then we had Mikel Arteta, breath of fresh air, said it exactly as it is. And one thing I did pick up often in his interviews was the usage of the words like we connecting with the fans, we need to do hard, we need to do better, we have let the fans down for so long, it's up to us to show the initiative and to make things happen. It was a breath of fresh air, and you're thinking, wow, this guy gets it. He's thinking exactly what I'm thinking as a fan. And for me, that was perfect. And I thought, initially I had my doubts. I was thinking, hold up, Mikel Arteta, he's got no experience. Why are we looking at him? But after a while, I told myself, you know what? Let me not just jump into conclusions. Let me give him some time. And when he had that first press conference, I thought, wow, he blew me away. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a proper go. And I want to see what he's all about. He came in non-negotiable. The way he dealt with Guendouzi for his petulance in Dubai, saying that's it, out of the team. You thought, wow, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. He's got zero tolerance, zero attitude. Until a few weeks later happened. David Luiz got a red card against Man City. A few weeks later, he was awarded with what? A new contract. And then for me, that whole non-negotiable thing just slowly went out the window. It was like, for example, certain players are his favourites and they can't do no wrong. For example, Hector Bellerin, without a doubt, is always going to somehow cement a spot at right back, despite that he got outdone by Phil Foden when we played Man City, despite that Jack Grealish absolutely raped him when we played Aston Villa a few weeks ago. To be fair, every team we play, for whatever reason, always attack us on that right-hand side. Look at the game at Leeds United over the weekend. All their cutbacks came from his side, and he couldn't cope with it. But yet, for whatever reason, he stays in a team. Ainsley was told not to join Wolves so that he could stay here and fight for his place. Nah, hasn't happened. Again, non-negotiable. Willian goes over to Dubai, has a few steaks and pictures with Salt Bay. No discipline whatsoever. Also, as I mentioned, with him, he's blasting out on Nicolas Pepe, saying it's unacceptable. I want you to cast your mind to what Mikel Arteta said after the game when David Luiz stupidly got a red card. Yes, it's not the same issue because Nicolas Pepe headbutted, whereas Luiz was a tackle, but a stupid tackle from an experienced 34-year-old centre-back. I think he's 34 or 33. So we can't forgive him for that. As in, you got to treat everyone exactly the same. When you say non-negotiable, you can't throw Matteo Guendouzi under the bus and then you, for whatever reason, give some of these players who are very error prone, who, like for example, Said Kolasinac, the game against Leicester, was it Leicester? He cost us a goal. West Ham, he played very poor, but he somehow gets into the team. Mustafi, he cost us that goal, the winning goal when we played Leicester a few weeks ago. And there's rumours that he's been offered a new contract. You see, this is for me where I'm so confused about Mikel Arteta. Yes, some of his fans might say, yeah, but he's won the FA Cup. Yeah, but I had no idea winning the FA Cup made you a great manager. Why is that? That's because I've seen from my lifetime a few managers who won that great winning FA Cup. Let's look at one here, for example. We got my mate here, Harry Redknapp. Yeah, FA Cup in 2008. 2008. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is Carnu. Can you see it? Carnu, at the age of however old he was probably pushing on to his 40s if we're going to go by his real age. And if we're also looking at that, Arsenal legend again, another one, Sol Campbell. Remember, this was Sol Campbell when just like he was almost on the verge of retirement. And Harry Redknapp, with the likes of Nico Kranjčar, Yakubu, etc., went and won the FA Cup with that Portsmouth team. Does that make Harry Redknapp a great manager? You're probably thinking, oh, it's just Harry Redknapp. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I'd accept that. But I've got another example here. Roberto Martinez. Yep. Won the FA Cup with Wigan. You probably don't even know who that player is, do you? Exactly. So my point is here, you can't be telling me an FA Cup is the reason why Mikel Arteta is great. If I recall, Roberto Martinez did he got relegated as soon as he won the FA Cup, I'm very sure. So does that make him a great manager? No. Another thing is you have plenty of fans and Arsenal fans coming out and saying, oh, but we looked so much better defensively. We are right up there, you know, in terms of defensively. So, okay, yes, we have slightly improved, but ask yourself this. Those figures are very, they're inflated figures. Reason being is because, yes, we have conceded not that many goals, but if you factor in that we play 5 at the back with pretty much everyone behind the ball, a very defensive style of play, we very rarely venture out to go find space and attack the opposition. Explain to me, how is that really claiming, saying, oh, we've got such a great defensive record? Let me just give you this little fact here. We've conceded the same amount here of goals as Chelsea, but for whatever reason, Chelsea have scored more than twice the amount of goals we have scored. Yep, let me repeat that again. We have conceded exactly the same amounts here as Chelsea Football Club, but Chelsea have outscored us by more than twice. I'm just saying, you know, it's Chelsea can boast they've got a decent defensive record. Why? Because they can defend as well as attack. There's no point saying, yeah, we're great at defending when you got a whole squad defending. Wake up. That's another reason why I don't trust the process. And it's not only just that. If we're looking at some of the man management issues, that's for me one of the biggest bugbear I have with Mikel Arteta, how poor his man management side of things are. I kind of touched upon it, the whole Matteo Guendouzi. So Guendouzi so far has had quite a decent spell to his life at Hertha Berlin. And he's exactly what we've been missing. He makes those drives for midfield. He's a workman around the midfield area. He's always wanting the ball. He's not shy. We could be losing 5-0. And I remember Matteo Guendouzi at 19 years of age just saying, give me the ball, give me the ball. We don't have that. We don't have anyone to take the game by the scruff of the neck and do something. Do you remember when we were playing Spurs and he set up that beautiful goal for Aubameyang, that ball that floated in nicely? Guendouzi, that game I remember, was instrumental. He made things work. And you would think all these people saying, oh, but Arteta, he's amazing, man management. You see what he's done with Sane, with Sterling. Yeah. But the situation is completely different. Why is that? It's because at Man City, Pep was the manager, and therefore Arteta could, you know, focus more on the coaching side of things. He could spend more time with the likes of Sane, with the likes of Sterling, and help them improve their games. Whereas right now, you look at Arsenal, it seems like he's given up on the whole idea of trying to coach and make Matteo Guendouzi better. That midfield role is a massive, massive gap that we have within our team. We have a player that could fill that void in the likes of Ozil, in the likes of Matteo. Maybe not so much. I'm not going to focus too much on Ozil because the likes of Unai Emery has tried him and it's not worked. When everyone was calling out for more creativity under Emery, he brought Ozil back, didn't work. Towards the last few years of Arsene Wenger, he digressed and it didn't work for him either. So I can't blame too much on the Ozil idea, but Matteo, we are sat here saying we need a midfielder to create things. If you're a great man manager, why couldn't you have dealt with the Matteo Guendouzi situation better? Okay, with the whole Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe was playing great towards the end of last season, and many fans out there, and I have some friends who are Chelsea fans, they actually turned around to me and said, you know what, after the FA Cup, that Nicolas Pepe guy, he's pretty decent, you know. And I thought, yeah, he's not bad. But with Pepe, the reason why he was getting that high all of a sudden is because since he's joined us, he has never played in more than 4 games in a row. And he was getting a bit of he was getting a few game times, a continuation towards the latter stages of last season where Mikel Arteta played him quite frequently. And you could see the improvement, the confidence in Nicolas Pepe. And what has happened since the start of this season? Yep, opening game against Fulham. Bye-bye, Pepe. Williams coming in. What did he do to warrant that? Let Pepe make that mistake and then drop him for Willian. Not new season starts. Bye-bye, Pepe. Thank you for your hard work towards the end of last season, but nah, I prefer this 32-year-old guy who's going to be on the downslope. Whereas I get it. Yeah, you're 25 years old. You just turned 25 and you're at the peak. But I'd rather not invest in you because I'd rather invest in this 32-year-old has-been. Great man management, ain't it? Yeah. And also, let's look at his whole sort of handling. And I know some of you out there probably thinking, oh man, he said the S word again. Fuck, another video with the name of William Saliba. Yeah, I'm going to mention it. I don't care. Say what you like. Reason why we are playing very defensively is because he has no trust in terms of our defenders. This whole thing of having a back five. You don't trust them, but you've not given this 18-year-old, he was 18 when in the summer, but now 19 years old, who has come in, who was spoken very highly in France. Now, if you look at some of the quotes, like they said out there in Liga, the French defender of Mbappe, the new Mbappe's, the Rolls Royce of defending. Please go search this quote as well. Ben Yedder, when he faced him, said Saliba was the hardest opposition he's faced. Some might say, yeah, but relax. Saliba has had quite a few issues since, and he's got personal issues, and that's the reason why he can't play. Now, cast your mind back to July when Saliba requested, between Saliba and Saint Etienne, they requested to extend his loan spell with Saint Etienne. Why? To play in the French final. So if Saliba's situation or the unfortunate loss of his mother occurred in May, why was he mentally prepared to play in July? No. So you're telling me he can face PSG in the French Cup final where Saint Etienne haven't won a single trophy in decades, but for whatever reason, he's not good enough to face Molde or Dundalk in Europa League. No. And also, based on his situation, Saliba was injured quite a few times last season at Saint Etienne. Yeah. So Mikel Arteta has plenty of time to see Saliba to assess the situation. Why was a decision made towards the last few days of the transfer market to say, let's loan him out? Mate, you had the whole summer and you had a season before because you saw him turn up at London Colony often. And yet the decision to say, let's loan him back came 2 days beforehand. No, I'm not having none of it. And then when some of you guys out there saying, oh yeah, but Saliba, it's still the issue. He can't play. You don't know. You're just speaking from crap. Well, let me just show you a little video of this 18-year-old, who let's bring this across here. So as you can see from that there, that's a 18-year-old Saliba with a microphone at Saint Etienne, against Lyon, rallying the whole team. As you can see right behind him, that's Wesley Fofana of Leicester City. So Wesley Fofana is right behind his main guy, the main defensive guy at Saint Etienne is that 18-year-old on a microphone. It's like, if I can compare their relationship, Saliba is Batman, Fofana is Robin. And for whatever reason, they both left Gotham City, and now Robin has become this amazing superhero, and Saliba has just become this once upon a time hero because his manager believes he needs a transition year and he's not mentally ready yet. So Mikel Arteta, what was your transition year? You went from being Pep's sideman to coming over at Arsenal and being main time manager. That's just I'll stop that now. I'm sure you have enough of seeing William's face over there. But in terms of what I sort of mentioned as well, going back to some of his gameplay, and I mentioned about Chelsea being ahead of us. Some might say, yeah, but Chelsea spent quite a bit during the summer. Okay, fair enough. You've got a point. They spent quite a bit. But who was arguably the team considered with the worst transfer? I have to say it's between Burnley and West Ham. Yep. Now, if we look at Burnley's West Ham. Why am I saying Burnley? If we look at West Ham, start of the season, they lost 2-0 against Newcastle. Yep. They lost to us 2-1. I remember that game, and they were very close and unfortunate to not go away with a draw because I believe they hit the crossbar. They smashed Wolves 4-0. We've got Wolves on a weekend at home. Can you see us beating them 4-0? I can't. Okay, let's continue. Leicester City, yeah? 3-0. 3-0. This is the same Leicester City that we found difficult to break down. That Rodgers outwitted Mikel Arteta. He played that low block. You know, that low block we love claiming that we're amazing at. He played that low block. Got the it was pretty much a grab and smash. They beat us, fair, you know. And to be fair, Rodgers had Mikel's number that day, and that's West Ham going there beating him 3-0. Spurs, the mighty Spurs. Yeah, I said it, the mighty Spurs, title challenging Spurs. They, remember, if you can recall, they were 3-0 down, came back, 3-0 performance. They also drew with Man City, yeah? The same Man City, we celebrated losing 1-0 because we said, oh, we were in the game for the majority. We're not that bad. We've improved. We're no longer losing 5-6-0. We're only losing 1-0 now. Yeah, West Ham got a 1-0 draw. They narrowly lost to Liverpool 2-1. We lost 3-1. And they beat Fulham 1-0. Yep, we beat Fulham 3-0. 3 points. They also beat Sheffield United 1-0, and I believe we beat them 2-1. So 1 goal margin between the two sides. And what's more impressive, even though they've got all of that, the difficult, tough fixtures they've had, arguably tougher than ours. Excuse that whenever it decides to load. As you can see, West Ham sat there in 8th, whilst you can't even see us because we've got this stupid cookies ad here. Let's remove that. I accept. There you go. We're sat there in 12th, whilst they're sat there in 8th with David Moyes as their manager and with that crappy squad they have. And that's without being disrespectful. We have a far superior team to them. And that's another point that a lot of these Arteta fanboys have. They will say, oh, but he doesn't have his players. He doesn't have the right personnel. Are you serious? Are you serious? So you're telling me Arteta can't make do with the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, with the Swiss captain Granit Xhaka, with Kieran Tierney, Bernd Leno. We're not talking about average players here. These are international players. As crap as Hector Bellerin is, even he played for fucking Spain during the international break. That tells you all. And then people make too many excuses. A decent manager can come in and utilize what he has at his disposal. So if you're telling me, oh, because we've not got the right personnel, then what you're telling me is he's not good enough. Look at Carlo Ancelotti. Everton's team is arguably far worse than us. Who would have said, yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is better than Lacazette or Aubameyang last season? Nobody. Arsenal fans will laugh at you if you ever made a suggestion. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's better than Lacazette. But now we're sat here saying, oh, but he's got Calvert-Lewin. But why though? He made him great. He identified his system. And remember, Everton spent less than us, but they strengthened really well. Brought in Decore, brought in Allen, James Rodriguez. Okay, I shouldn't say this being an Arsenal channel, but those lot down the road, Jose Mourinho, yeah, he came in and he got the best out of these guys. And you can't say, yeah, our attack is flat. It's the most expensive attack in the league, and Unai Emery got us here with the second highest scoring team when he first joined. Yeah, we conceded a shitload, but the point I'm trying to make to you is you can't sit here after a few weeks and say, "Oh, it's because our attack is crap. That's why we can't. That's why we can't score." No, it's not that. It's the system, and who enforces that system? The manager. And this is why I don't trust this process. This process, from what I've seen, has regressed significantly. We've seen even this is one of the biggest things I have to go in about Arteta is the lack of trust of youth. Yeah, when we're talking about the likes of Willett performed great since the Europa started. The game against Manchester, nowhere to be seen on the bench. Nowhere to be seen. We're talking about the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe. He's very cautious in bringing him back. Mate, if you don't really trust him like that, why did Emil Smith-Rowe stay here? Because what's going to happen is come after January, he's not going to get any games. We're going to be on the knockout stages of Europa. We're going to be going to have more difficult games in the league, and I can't see him trusting him there. It's all these youth players, they've regressed under him. They really have. They really have. And you can't sit here and say they've improved. The only one I can think of that has improved is Saka, but that's only because he's playing regularly. And if it weren't for Unai Emery breaking him out to the scene, had Mikel Arteta joined and Saka was still a youth team player, not considered a first team player, Arteta would have never played him. And this is my main issue. For the future of the club, do we really want a manager to be here who doesn't entrust the youth and for whatever reason, stagnates their development? Look at Gabriel Martinelli. Prior to him being injured, he'd never played him. The game against Olympiacos, yeah? We were screaming out for Martinelli to come on. The commentator was screaming, Martin Keown. I was screaming. The only idiot that decided to say, nah, don't fancy playing him was who? Mikel Arteta. So all these fans who are claiming, yeah, we can't wait for Mikel Arteta, we can't wait for Martinelli to come back. Don't get your hopes up too much, because when he was fit, this manager never played him. So what makes you think he'll play him now? And going back to the main idiot, Josh Kroenke, and the board. Now, some of you out there might say, but if we get rid of Arteta, who would come in and fix the job? And the question I have is, I don't trust these guys. Yeah, am I pointing at him? Nope, wrong way. There you go. Yeah, that looks awkward. But that idiot there, that's it. That's a better one. Him, that idiot there, yeah? I don't trust him. I don't trust his father. I don't trust all of them. None of them. I don't trust them to appoint the right person. These aren't footballing people. All they like to do is use these buzzwords. Oh, believe in the process. Non-negotiable. And all of these crappy words. Mate, I've worked in corporate industry for so long. I hear this all the time. Every time there's a CEO or a new CIO that comes in, they come in with their new buzzwords, the new acronym, and they, for whatever reason, believe they're going to change things up. But guess what? On a day-to-day basis, my job role hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. I get in the office at 9 o'clock. I leave at 5 o'clock. I go to the coffee machine where it was there. I sat at my desk where it was there previously before the new CIO joined us. Nothing changes. Mate, I don't believe in this crap, yeah? I know these words, but then a lot of you fans out there are taking onto this hype, these words that they're pushing out on you. Remember, yeah, these are businessmen. They know exactly what to say, yeah, to get the fan base following, to get some sort of trust within the fan bases. If you know anything about the corporate world, you know all of these buzzwords, you've heard it before. It doesn't really interest you. You're not falling for it. Honestly, I'm not falling for it. So now that we're here, what do we do? For me, I've seen some glimpses to think Mikel Arteta is a good manager, but then I've seen a lot to say I don't think so. I don't trust this process. And with these guys, I forgot the way to point. Wherever with these guys, idiot on there, I don't trust them because I've seen it for far too long. They don't know what's going on. For quite some time when Wenger was here, they had this structure of where Wenger did everything. Then they tried to break that down and bring Sven Mislintat and bring other people around. So therefore, we could just bring in a first team coach. And that was the case with Unai Emery. He didn't have any power of transfers. So it was when the time came, it was easy to remove Unai Emery because why? You still had a structure around him, and all you had to replace was a first team coach. Issue we have here now is Mikel Arteta has been promoted to a first team coach. Now, what does that mean? That means he deals with a lot more. He's got his hands in a lot more pies. And therefore, like the transfers, for example, he's also involved with a bit of like the negotiation sides. So, and as I said, he's no longer a first team coach. He's been promoted to a manager. So if they were to get rid of him, that's a massive, massive, massive void they need to fill. Because not only do you now need to bring in a manager, you now have to bring all that structure. So why did you create a structure to get away from the system of Wenger just for a few years later to say, we're going to bring back that structure? And that's why I don't trust the process, because we have idiots who don't know what they're doing. It's like I own a restaurant, but I know nothing about food. I know nothing about food hygiene. I know nothing about like the pots and pans to make the dishes. I know nothing about ingredients. And then all I'm doing is entrusting people who might know food to do stuff. That's exactly what these idiots are all about. And what would I do personally? I think Arteta could become a decent manager, but now, unfortunately, no, not the right time. I think as if he needs maybe to bring in more experienced coaches around him. I think he has too many yes men, and I think he needs someone who's gonna challenge him and someone who's more experienced and would perhaps look at his formation and say, "Nah, Arteta, you might want to change that." I think that will be the situation that I would have right now due to the Cronkies being here, because I can't see them getting rid of him. But what I would do if we could get rid of him is maybe have a new manager coming in, like a Raf Benitez or Ralph from Southampton, or even perhaps an Allegri. Get Arteta to shadow them for a few years, learn some sort of managerial traits of him, and pick up things. I just feel as if this job has come very soon for Arteta, and I think by him shadowing underneath someone for 2-3 years, he could then become the right manager at that time. But I just can't see that happening. Why would Mikel Arteta demote himself from a manager to be an assistant again? And I can't see as well the Cronkies getting rid of Arteta, because all these PR words they've pushed through to the Arsenal fan base, like trust the process and making him manager. If they get rid of him, how can they market the next manager that comes in? They can't. They can't. They can't. They can't. They can't. And for all of you who go on like Arteta's a great manager, I'm not one for stats really, but if we look at the differences between him and Emery, as you can clearly see, in the first 26 games, Arteta has 12 wins, Emery with 15, Arteta with 8 losses, Emery with 6. And apparently Arteta is a better defensive manager. Okay, that's the first 26 games of each manager, but remember, Emery did have a great start. So let's look at the 38 games in all competitions with both managers. Arteta has 21 wins, whereas Emery has got 23. Arteta has 9 losses to Emery's 9 as well. And we often claim that Unai Emery was a bad defensive manager. So explain to me, why is his stats better? I'm just saying. Some might say, oh, but Arteta walked into a mess. Likewise, Unai Emery walked into a team that had a manager that was there for 22 years, and he had the likes of Lichtsteiner, the likes of Mkhitaryan, Iwobi, etc. We can't keep making these excuses One thing though, I do feel sorry for Arteta is that unfortunately he doesn't have experienced heads around him. Like for example, director of having Edu Gaspar. What has Edu done really? He's got a few Brazilians. He's sourced out a few Brazilians, but even then, he's still not doing his job diligently. For example, bringing on the likes of Cedric Suarez. Why? Bringing on Mari. Yes, I haven't seen enough, but did we really need to sanction that move if we already got Gabriel? I thought the whole, if I'm going to be honest with you, I think Mikel wanted Gabriel. He really did, and Gabriel was his guy. But unfortunately, he thought to himself during the January transfer window, the club aren't going to back me. I'm just going to look for a cheaper left foot centre back option, and that's when Marie came in. But why couldn't we just funded that move then? It's like another example. We are told to trust the process, right? Why should I trust the process? Yeah, when I'm pointing again the wrong way. When this guy here, and his father do not trust Arteta to back him. Yes, they might say, Arteta might say, I've been backed. No, he hasn't. He hasn't been backed. Let's be real here, yeah? If he was backed, we wouldn't have sold Martinez. We would have kept both keepers, let them fight out. Yep, would have maybe perhaps try sell some of the fringe players. I know it's a bit difficult, but even then we could have got the likes of Aouar and Partey together. But nope, we just got Thomas Partey. Why did we sign Thomas Partey on the deadline day? Because it creates this great euphoria by Arsenal fans. Look, we made a signing. Then we forget, that we should have signed an attacking midfielder. So we're so coerced, by this deadline day signing that we're forgetting the man wasn't backed at all. So how can you tell me to trust a process that the owners don't trust themselves? Yeah, it's that easy, Cronkies. Yeah, you back Arteta in the summer, you get him Thomas Partey, you get him Aouar, and guess what happens? The likelihood of you getting Champions League is a lot higher. Yeah, I'm hearing stories that the Cronkies are looking to invest out of their own pocket come January, but by come January we might be 15th, mate. And it's a bit too late then. You had the opportunity in the summer to go out, spend, back your manager, and then let's see what happens later on. I think I summed it up there. I think fundamentally the main reason I don't trust the process is because the process, unfortunately, is dictated by these guys. Yeah, him and his father. And I've seen us recently digress in our form. How much longer can we take? For me, not that much longer, honestly speaking. If we lose to Wolves, we get a battering at Tottenham, and I don't see any more improvement. Yeah, he's out for me. Out for me. Definitely out. Anyways, I hope I've given you a balanced review as to why I don't believe in the process. I'm not just solely putting the blame on Mikel Arteta, and that's not fair. I know he's trying, but as I said, he's not got the right ownership to help him out. He's got an inexperienced footballing director in Edu. Like I've heard, for example, Edu should have got Jude. Is it Jude Bellingham? I think that's how you pronounce him, Jude Bellingham. However, he didn't know much about the player, and that's a massive, massive cost. Also, there's this young Brazilian right back who I'm very, very regretful that we didn't sign, Yan Couto. So Yan Couto was signed by Man City. He's also, as I mentioned, Brazilian. So Edu, this is right up your street, and you failed to sign him. A young, talented right back who's going to take the footballing world by storm. He just turned 18. Man City signed him up and have loaned him out to Gooner. And Edu, for whatever reason, could not identify him, but Edu could identify a 32-year-old has-been down the road at Chelsea. So my point I'm trying to make is it's not just Edu's fault. It's not just Mikel's fault. Unfortunately, due to the structure, having an ownership who have no sense on, have no idea what footballing is, and also having a director who's fairly inexperienced, and a coaching staff who I haven't heard much great things from. Sorry. Yes, unfortunately, he's a bit handicapped, but I just don't trust in the process, unfortunately. And until I'm given reasons to why I should believe in the process, I'm gonna unfortunately have to say I don't trust the process. And as I said, giving it a few more games, if I don't see any more improvements, out. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to me. I blagged on for over 40 minutes. Wow. And if you have listened to me for this long, God bless you. I'm so thankful and thank you so much. Hope to see you soon. Please like, subscribe. Take care.